Never thought I'd see that before, and now I have. DeadAlive, or known as Braindead in New Zealand, is Jackson's third film and finally the first with a budget. When it was released in 1992, Jackson had finally made a name for himself in the two islands and set up base in Wellington, New Zealand. This movie would roughly cost about $3 million and it would take about 11 weeks to make. It was a financial bomb, but has gained a cult following since then. The movie's title was changed to DeadAlive in its US release in '93 because of another film that came out a few years prior called Braindead, with a space between the word, I guess. Because these two films totally look the same. Like his last two films, I have never seen this one before and I had no idea what to suspect, and I loved it. The story surrounds our main character Lionel and his overbearing mother, mom. She gets bitten by a rat monkey thing, but eventually she comes back to life as a zombie and begins killing friends, families, and a bunch of neighbors. Let the mayhem begin. Right off the bat, we're thrown into Skull Island. What? I had to pause the movie for a second to make sure I read that correctly. You can definitely tell Jackson loves the original King Kong to have this nod in his film. Wait a minute, that shot looks familiar.
Vanishing into the darkness of the mountain. And so Isildur cursed them.
Alright, I think it's fair to say that the Lord of the Rings takes place in Skull Island. There is also a spectacular nod to Raiders of the Lost Ark during the opening scene, when our two characters are running away from the natives of the island. After that, we are introduced to our main hero, who is a little strange, but it makes sense when we meet his mom. The movie is super goofy and keeps that horror B feel that Jackson had in his past movies. You have your over-the-top acting.
Zingaya!
You have your ridiculous story plots.
More beans, Mrs. Medicine. I'll have a few of those, lad.
I really think we should be going here. Thank you, Lionel.
What? No pudding?
And you have your disgusting yet beautiful effects. And blood. Lots and lots of blood. Now, like always, let's talk about those sweet highlights. One of my favorite scenes would have to be the graveyard scene when Lionel is visiting his mom's grave. The pastor from the service comes to help out Lionel, and that's when we get this beautiful line.
I kick ass for the Lord!
Followed up by this. What the heck was that? Where did that come from? I think God would be proud with what he just saw right there. This totally came out of left field. This is the stuff I really wanted to see. Another funny scene takes place at a park when Lionel is trying to fit in with his demon zombie baby? That baby. Huh. In itself is creepy, but the creepier part was the shots of it running away where you could clearly see it was a small person or a child running in that outfit with that laugh. Holy that laugh. Have fun seeing that in your hallways tonight. Just like his previous films, the kills are over the top and so much fun. I won't show them all, but one of my favorites was this beauty right here. Third act is the main reason why you watch this movie. It has the most violent, over-the-top scene in any movie I could think of. In fact, up until It Chapter 2, this movie had the most blood used during a production on any movie. For the final climactic scene, over 300 liters of blood were used in it. Oh boy, does it show. In fact, because the blood was so over the top, the BBFC, which is equivalent to the MPAA, was considering giving this movie a 15, which is a R rating in the US, but it eventually got an 18 rating, which is N17 rating in the US. Don't quote me on these rating comparisons though, Google was not as helpful as it should have been. I don't really have any negatives with this movie, except for some scenes just not going anywhere or just flat out boring. This movie, while it definitely is not tame, has the least amount of rewatchability. The last 40 minutes is why you want to watch this movie. With Meet the Feebles and Bad Taste, I was blown away with those movies the whole time, and I wish I could say the same for Braindead. At points in the movie, it just felt like a boring scene that was put in there to get our characters from point A to B, and there were a few too many times that happened. Well guys, and that's it. Oh my gosh, stop! Sorry. That's the review, guys. If you stuck around to the end, thanks for stopping by. We only have 2 films left before we get into the Lord of the Rings series, and I'm super excited to look those movies over. Like always, smack that like button, it helps us out a lot, and if you haven't yet, join the evolution, and that's it. I'm gonna go get that lawnmower.